Good evening and welcome to The Fine Print. I'm Aisha Sidhu. Hollywood's top stars wore trendy and expensive black and took a stand against sexual predators. It was a lineup of stars so bright that they dazzled the world. They were there to let us know that Hollywood is ready to discard the one item of furniture the world of showbiz loves, the casting couch.
I want to thank everyone who broke their silence this year and spoke up about abuse and harassment. You are so brave, and hopefully shows like this, more will be made. So people out there who are feeling silenced by harassment, discrimination, abuse, time is up. We see you, we hear you, and we will tell your stories.
Over the past year, famous women stars like Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek and Gwyneth Paltrow have accused powerful male producers and co-stars like Harvey Weinstein and Dustin Hoffman of sexually predatory behavior towards them when they were embarking on their careers.
Many of us were taught not to tattle. It was a culture of silencing, and that was normalized. I urge all of us to not only support survivors and bystanders who are brave enough to tell their truth, but to promote restorative justice. May we also please protect and employ them. May we teach our children that speaking out without the fear of retribution is our culture's new North Star.
Now, some men have claimed to be victims as well, like one young man who accused actor Kevin Spacey of making sexual advances toward him. Be it men or women, all victims say that they didn't speak up at the time because the predator was powerful and acted threateningly. And yet, the event last night has come under fire in the global media for several reasons, prompting WION to ask the question, is a sexual encounter between a powerful person and a victim working under them always a one-way street? WION absolutely condemns inappropriate behavior, and if the victim is a minor, the strictest punishment must be awarded to the predator. But why is the Golden Globe ceremony being slammed as the ultimate exercise in hypocrisy? Consider these questions. Most stars who spoke up against Weinstein or Hoffman were young when the men are said to have made their moves. But now they're stars at the peak of their careers. So why didn't they speak up over the 20-odd years that they were climbing the ladder to success? The answer is obvious. For the not-so-talented but thoroughly ambitious among them, there may have been no 20 years, no stardom, and so they gave in. At the Globes, the presenter cracked a joke about Woody Allen, the other influential director long accused of being a sexual predator. But Hollywood's crusaders didn't laugh at it. They squirmed instead. After all, Allen is a director that all movie stars would give an arm and a leg to work with. Then there's the other question. Is it always men in power who exploit and make passes at women working under them? What about women? From Hollywood to Bollywood, from the IT industry to, yes, even the world of journalism and politics. Take a look around us. Many women and men think nothing of using their physical charms or flirtatious ways to get ahead in their careers. There's a grey zone and a very thin dividing line between mutuality and coercion. So is kissing for help to climb a ladder and complaining about the helper 20 years later entirely ethical? Feminism was born in the West. The United States, where the Globe ceremony took place, is the home of feminists like Germaine Greer, Gloria Steinem, to name a few. 20 years ago, most women in India wouldn't speak up for fear of social stigma. It's very different today, though. Indian women in extremely conservative or impoverished circumstances are still reluctant to go public. That's understandable. But of course, questions have been raised about the hypocrisy at the Golden Globes yesterday. But the liberated ladies of the United States who pumped their fists in the air are being asked questions now. One of them, of course, is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey for President of the United States. Seriously, the speculation was apparently triggered by Winfrey's address at the Golden Globes, chiefly her final lines.
So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again. Thank you.
In its report, CNN said, and I quote, Oprah Winfrey is actively thinking about running for president, two of her close friends told CNN Monday. The two friends, who requested anonymity in order to speak freely, talked in the wake of Winfrey's extraordinary speech at the Golden Globe Sunday night, which spurred chatter about a 2020 run, end quote. The point being made that if Donald Trump, also a celebrity television star with no experience of government, could become president of the United States, why not Oprah Winfrey, the heartthrob of millions of Americans? Online, Slate magazine, in a provocatively titled article, asked some common sense questions. Quote, it's safe to assume that Oprah will be in charge of the country in January 2021, if not sooner. But how will she govern? Who will be appointed to key roles in her administration? Might she, like Trump, promise to overcome her lack of government experience and policy knowledge by selecting the best people to advise her, end quote. It then went on to list the dubious characters that Miss Winfrey has promoted on her television show. Among them, of course, is Dr. Oz, who's advertised miracle pills and fat busters. Then there's Dr. Phil McGraw, who exploited drug addicts. Jenny McCarthy, who was against children being vaccinated against infectious diseases. Actress Suzanne Somers, who took 60 pills a day to fight aging. Trump had a different take on it. He said, quote, people were worried about Obama coming to their homes and taking away their guns. Oprah will come to your homes and leave books there, which is far, far worse. This is a woman who every chance she got told people to join her book club, end quote. For the record, though, America elected actor Ronald Reagan to the presidency. Terminator star Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor of California. Clearly, there's room for some more. Right, let's stick with that story and talk a little bit more about gender equality as an issue. It is, of course, intrinsic to conversations of our time. This extends to the debate on equal pay for equal work. Now, only recently, Carrie Gracie, a BBC editor, resigned after demanding equal pay. Her story has sparked a debate over the issue of pay parity around the world. Gracie resigned after she discovered that two of her male peers were being paid significantly more than her. In a scathing open letter which she put online on Sunday night, Gracie accused her bosses of taking a divide-and-rule approach to female staff. Gracie's explosive intervention follows an angry backlash from some leading BBC presenters after a list of its 96 top earning stars revealed that women made up just one-third of the on-air broadcasters paid £150,000 or more. Gracie added, and I quote, "It is painful to leave my China post abruptly and to say goodbye to the team in the BBC's Beijing bureau. But most of them are brilliant young women. I don't want their generation to have to fight this battle in the future because my generation failed to win it now. I wish you the solidarity of a strong sisterhood and the support of male colleagues," end quote. This case has drawn direct comparison with the Harvey Weinstein scandal. The argument is this: while Weinstein's alleged harassment forced women to make compromises, Gracie chose to stand up against an unfair wage system of a large media organization. She drew attention to the pay gap issue with a statement after her resignation. She said that she resigned because she could not collude to keep the policy of unlawful pay discrimination going. But it isn't just women who complain of discriminatory practices at work. A lawsuit has been filed against Google, accusing the tech giant of discrimination against male employees. James Damore, a former Google employee who was fired last year for writing a sexist memo defending the gender gap in the Silicon Valley, has now filed a lawsuit against the tech major, alleging that its policies are anti-white men. A report.
The lawsuit filed against Google alleges workplace discrimination and retaliation. According to the lawsuit, Google has failed to protect employees, especially white men, from workplace harassment for supporting U.S. President Donald Trump or having conservative political views. The complaint, filed in a court in California, says Damore and his colleagues were ostracized, belittled, and punished for their heterodox political views, and for the added sin of their birth circumstances of being Caucasians and or males. The lawsuit also accuses Google of maintaining a secret blacklist of conservative media personalities who were not allowed inside the company's offices. And that's not all. There's also been an allegation that the company uses illegal hiring quotas to achieve a certain percentage of women and minority employees. The complaint says Google's management goes to extreme and illegal lengths to encourage hiring managers to take protected categories such as race and or gender into consideration as determinative hiring factors to the detriment of Caucasian and male employees. It seems to be a first-of-its-kind lawsuit against Google. Bureau Report, WION.
Right, let's move on. Another day, another ban on Indian officials at gurdwaras overseas. 16 more in Canada and 96 in the United States have banned the entry of Indian officials. Now, just days ago, 14 gurdwaras made a similar announcement in Ontario, Canada. The Sikh Coordination Committee East Coast, or SCCEC, and American Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, or APGC, claim that 96 gurudwaras in the US have resolved to prevent Indian officials from entering them. Both these bodies see themselves as the largest umbrella organizations of gurudwaras in the United States. This latest diktat has the support of the US-based Sikhs for Justice, or SFJ group. Its lawyers said, quote, "We will also initiate legal proceedings against those Indian diplomats who will try to defy this ban." End quote. Now, according to reports, 96 out of 116 Gurdwara management committees voted in favor of this proposal to ban Indian officials as well as members of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, or RSS, and Shiv Sena. However, as has been the case in similar pronouncements of late, visits in personal capacity won't be stopped. So far, some Gurdwaras in the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia and the United States have initiated these bans. Many of these Sikh groups hold the Indian government responsible for the 1984 military operation in the Golden Temple. Their decisions to ban Indian officials from their places of worship has been put down to quote-unquote interference by the Indian government in their functioning. For observers, these developments to raise questions over the resurgence of the Sikh nationalist movement that was considered defeated in India in the 1990s. However, some Sikh groups in India have distanced themselves from these diktats. Among them is the Rashtriya Sikh Sangat, an affiliate of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. The Sikh body has condemned the bans as uncalled for and attempts to incite sentiment against India by misguided elements with vested interests.